Hi guys, this is Kim from Kim's Vintage Obsessions, and I'm back this week to make a video. Once again, I'm sorry. My original intention was to make a video every week. It may be every other week while my 6-week crash course in machine dynamics is going on. But that'll be over in 3 weeks, and then I can commit more time to this instead of doing homework and going to class all the time. But so I've been really appreciating everyone's comments. I've gotten so many new subscribers and so many people that are interested in listening to my opinions and what I have to say about glass and what I collect, and just sharing some of my research and my knowledge. And a common video request, and yes, I'm really excited that I'm at the point where I get video requests, is to talk about my favorite items. I also got another video request which was really cool, and it's to talk about the science behind glass making, and I will get to that video. I just want to make sure that I do a lot of research and have a lot of really sound knowledge to share with you guys and get all the processes down and the elements. And having an engineering mind, I think that would be really a cool video to blend a few of my interests together to talk about it in one topic. And so today we're going to talk about my favorite items, which are kind of ironic considering that my original intention was to collect colored glass, but most of my favorites actually ended up being clear glass. So each piece has a story, and I'm excited to share the story, the background, and even a little history about the piece with you guys. But yeah, let's get into it. My first favorite piece is actually something that I identified that I wanted at the very beginning of my journey when I picked up Mozzie's Depression Glass textbook. And I got this for $5 at an antique store. I just had to have it. It has a lot of pictures. I definitely recommend this book series when it comes to researching and learning about just what's out there, even if you just want to look through it like a magazine catalog and determine what you want to pick out to collect. But something that caught my eye was the Martini glass in the Manhattan pattern, produced by the Anchor Hawking Glass Company from 1939 to 1941. So this Martini glass comes in clear and pink, and for some reason the pink just didn't do it for me, but the clear was it was breathtaking. And I went looking, and I think it took me a year to come across them at all. And then I found a pair of them for $70, and I was like, that's too much money for just like a pair of Martini glasses. And so I passed on them, and my dad, he actually took a trip, this was in Adamstown, and he actually took a trip secretly one day to try and go back and buy them for me for my birthday, but when he went back, they had sold already. So another year goes by, and I went antiquing with my friend Max, who also watches my videos, so hi Max. But I went antiquing with him one day. It was the first time we ever went antiquing together. He's never been, and I just figured it'd be something fun to do. And we went to an antique store, and I turn around, and lo and behold, it is the Manhattan Martini glass that I had been wanting for 2 years. So I knew I had to buy it when I saw it. It was $20, and it was just one of them, and honestly, it's just me. And I probably will end up drinking chocolate milk out of this. I got it this summer, so actually about a month ago I think I bought this. But chocolate milk or Shirley Temples or whatnot are definitely a wonderful option for using my favorite. This is my all-time favorite of my entire collection. This is the one thing that I'm most excited about, most proud of, because I saw it in that book and I wanted it. And finally, it turned up and I got to buy it for myself, which was really, really exciting. And this is just the crown jewel. It's very Art Deco. I love everything 1920s, and the Art Deco style it was about 1925 into the late 30s. So although this was made from 1939 to 1941, this to me just embodies the opulence of the 1920s, and so for that reason, this is one of the crown jewels of my collection. Another one of my favorite pieces is this Depression Glass pie server, and the reason why is because I've never been able to find another one like this. So I Google glass pie server and I find ones that have glass handles, or a piece of it is glass, but I've never found an entirely glass pie server or pie spatula ever, except for when I went to go visit the National Depression Glass Museum down in West Virginia, which is a trip I definitely recommend going to take. If it's feasible for you to get down there and experience that, I totally recommend it. They have an entire huge room filled with clear glass display cases, just packed full of depression glass. You can see just about everything there. I have spent hours just looking at everything. It's categorized by company. Not necessarily every pattern is labeled, but you can just kind of go there and look around and see what they have. And they had one of these actually, and on the very bottom of one of the glass display cases, just laying there. It was kind of hard to spot because it's clear and it was a white bottom, but I saw it and I was so excited because I have never ever been able to find another one of these. So considering that it was in the National Depression Glass Museum, I'm going to assume that it was depression glass. And something interesting about that is, the nice thing about having one of those reference textbooks is you can look at the patterns and try and match up a piece that you have if you're not certain. So I believe that this is the Waterford pattern made by the Hawking Glass Company from 1938 to 1944. And the reason for that is when I look at the way that these diamonds have a beveled edge on them, and then you look at the book and you can see the beveled edges on those pieces, it just seems like, to me, it matches. So I could definitely foresee this being a part of that collection. And also it is depression glass, since it was in the Depression Glass Museum. And this is just a really cool piece. Whenever I make a cake or serve pie, this is always sitting there with one of my depression glass knives to cut it, and then this, of course, to serve it. So this is a really special piece to me, and something that I've never been able to even so much as find on the internet. So again, ironically, another favorite piece, or favorite pieces rather, are these clear glass salt and pepper shakers. Now, I must say something about these is that they are heavy. These are lead glass, lead crystal. You can just feel it in your hands, the difference between something that's just normal glass and lead crystal. So lead crystal is classified as anything that has greater than 24 weight % lead in the glass content, and the purpose of putting lead in is to make it shine, make it sparkle, increase clarity. So these definitely are very high quality lead crystal. And what's interesting about them is I did research, and these are actually Czechoslovakian, so Czechoslovakian glass. Czechoslovakia in general was very, very famous, very popular, very well known for their cut glass, for ever heard of Austrian crystal. So that area of the world has just always been very, very good at glass production. And actually what happened was, when many of the Czechoslovakians came to America, a lot of the glass makers and glass cutters came with, and that's where a lot of American brilliant cut glass comes from, is that these craftsmen immigrated to the US and started making American brilliant cut glass. So, fun history fact. But these I actually paid $2 for. These were at Black Swan Antique Store in Palmyra. They were just sitting on a shelf, and I was in the market for a salt and pepper shaker, and I saw these, and the thing that made me buy them, I guess, is how clear they are. If you look through the bottom, it looks like the bottom isn't even there. This is a solid piece of glass. It looks like just empty, but the glass is so clear that you can see the entire way through. You can look around on the inside like a prism. Truly amazing. And I liked the glass tops too, because unfortunately with a lot of the depression glass shakers that had metal tops, they're corroded, and I didn't want to have something corroded for my dinner service, so I was very thrilled to find ones with glass screw-on tops, and that alone were this luxurious. And I actually did research, and shakers like this go for $80 on Etsy, and considering that I paid $2 for them, I would say that I got a bargain. Favorite piece is actually a souvenir. So I enjoy going to glass museums. There are so many in this area, so many in Pennsylvania, so many in New York and West Virginia. But there's the Corning Glass Museum, and I got a little perfume bottle as a souvenir. This is just art glass. It's supposed to be Egyptian inspired, but it's a perfume bottle, so you fill it with your favorite perfume. I think I have Pacifica French Lilac in here right now, but it has this little stick and you pull it out, put it on your wrists. Just a cute little way to put on perfume, makes you feel a little extra fancy. And fun fact is this little design, I don't know if you can see it, but it's wheel cut, so this was a hand finished piece of glass. It's flashed, which means it's clear glass with another color of glass quickly heated up on top of it, and it's cut to clear, which means that somebody took a wheel cutter and carved in the design on it. So fun little piece from the Corning Glass Museum. I just love getting little mementos of trips that I go on and places that I go, so definitely something that's very special. This piece actually isn't clear glass, surprise, but this is a 1960s marigold carnival glass trefoil shaped Relish Dish made by the Jeanette Glass Company. And this is something that I use for whenever I have a tea service and there's biscuits or scones, because you can put 3 different kinds of jellies in. I love jelly, so putting different kinds in here just gives some options. I love the gold iridescence of this, and I actually got these adorable little gold spoons to go with it. Now these have a cool story on their own. These are made by Avon. They're 1970s Avon little gold spoons that actually came with a hand cream jar, I believe. So they had a little strawberry glass hand cream jar with this spoon in it that you would spoon out your hand cream and put it on. And the cool thing about a lot of Avon's things is that once you used up the product, you have something decorative or even useful. So it's just kind of that reuse type mindset. And the reason I know this is because I actually came across the strawberry with its original gold spoon, because I bought these gold spoons separately aside from the strawberry. And at the antique store I found the original set for it, and I was just really impressed. But I think they're gold plated actually, which is really fancy, and it brings out the gold tones in the relish dish itself. Sometimes relish dishes, they can be 2 compartments, 3 compartments, 4 compartments, different shapes. They can get really fun. I wanted one that had smaller compartments and more options because, I mean, how much condiment are you going to put out? You don't need a whole mountain of relish or a whole mountain of jelly, but I was happy with the size of these, and I feel like whenever I put this on my table, it's just kind of a centerpiece because the gold just pops out at you. It really does, and you wouldn't expect it, considering sometimes you have cobalt or yellow or even like a bright green or ruby glass on the table, but it's this gold piece that actually stands out, which is really, really beautiful and such a nice centerpiece. Last but certainly not least is the souvenir from the Duncan Miller Glass Museum in Washington, Pennsylvania. So I actually went there last summer and I got these beautiful candlesticks, which actually ended up being a Christmas present for me because I saw them and I love them, and my mom got them for me. Now these lucite candlesticks did not come with, I'll talk about those separately, but look at, and I have a pair of them, look at the prisms and the pattern of the waves on the bottom. Just Duncan Miller was known for their quality glass pieces. In the 1930s, they were more of an elegant glass company as opposed to a depression glass company. But this pattern is my all-time favorite. This is Caribbean Wave, made by Duncan Miller in 1937, so not a very long production period. This chandelier effect is just stunning. Now I will say the museum did have an even nicer example of this where the crystals were ruby red. So it was this clear base with ruby red crystals, stunning. It was my dream piece. If I could have any piece of glass ever that I would ever want, it would be those. It would be the candlesticks with the ruby chandelier crystals. But unfortunately, it was in the museum display as opposed to the gift shop or the shop where you could actually buy Duncan Miller glass, and I wasn't able to purchase them, never found them online. Still hoping that one day I'll be able to get my hands on those, because I actually have the punch bowl, the Caribbean wave pattern punch bowl with the red handles, and just having the red crystals with the clear glass candlestick holders would just be a perfect set. But these lucite candles, which actually come out, these are from, I believe, the 50s or 60s. These are made of lucite, which is a kind of acrylic. Fun fact is, in World War II, the windshields for the fighter pilot, or for the jets, those were made from lucite, and whenever there was a piece of lucite manufactured that was imperfect, it would often be reused in, I don't know if any of you know much about vintage purses, but there's often lucite boxes from the 1950s, lucite box purses, and they're made of clear lucite panels with some decorative metal work and whatnot. But those are actually made from the defective leftover windshields from the planes in World War II. So I thought that was a really cool reuse of that material. But these are made from the same material. They're not World War II jet windshield reuse, but they are made of lucite, and they have silver flakes in them. I've seen clear ones with copper flakes, gold flakes, but these are the only ones I've ever come across that I've been able to buy. I would love to have a set with gold flakes and a set with copper flakes, and there's even colored ones that are fully red, fully purple. I would love to own those. However, the only time I ever come across them is when there's just one of them, or they're not for sale. So believe it or not, there is an antique store in Camp Hill, I believe, and I walked in and they had a 3 candelabra with lucite, and I said, can I buy those? Because they were behind the counter, and they had gold, so they were gold ones, and I was like, can I please buy those? They were using them for decoration in the antique store, and it was such a letdown. I was so sad. I wanted to buy them. I would have definitely paid fair market value for them, but no, they couldn't part with them because it was just a decoration that they purchased for the store, and I was like, oh, because I mean, you go antiquing to find things like this, and it was decorating the store, so there's nothing I could do about it. But I'm always on the hunt for these. Lately they've been pretty popular, and price-wise they've definitely gone up in the last 2 years, but very beautiful, and I feel like these just do my favorite candlesticks justice. It just does it justice. They look so perfect together, and definitely set off my table as a centerpiece as well. I did end up using blue tacky putty in order to keep these in. So these have a shorter diameter than what goes into these candlestick holders, and when I bought them there's tape wrapped around them, so it seems like the previous owner had the same problem, and I've seen that quite frequently actually, but I didn't want to do the tape method, and I had blue putty, and that's what's in there right now. I really need to get museum putty or museum gel, which is just this clear putty that honestly, which museums use so that their articles don't fall off the shelves and whatnot, but I should really get some of that so that the whole thing is clear the whole way through. You don't really notice the blue, but I definitely need to get some of that just to do this justice, because it is so beautiful and definitely one of my favorite things. So thank you guys for watching and joining me while I talk about my favorite articles or my favorite items that I have in my collection. I'm sure that as I continue collecting that may change in the future. I might have to do an update video whenever I find something truly exceptional that I got to add to my collection. But for now, these are my favorites. Again, I was even surprised when I pulled out my favorites and put them together, and I was like, oh, they're all clear. But there's just something about some of the patterns where there's lines or waves, and it just catches the light and it's spectacular. So thank you guys for watching my video. Please comment any ideas you have for video that I can make, or comment if you have a personal collection, what your favorite pieces are, or just anything really. I love when I get feedback from you guys, or just talking to you, or just giving input, or even just hearing what you guys think. I absolutely love and appreciate the support that I've been receiving, and I look forward to the next time I make a video, which will either be next week or the following week. I'm hoping for next week. Depends on how much homework I have, but if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. I really appreciate when you guys do that. It's very encouraging and makes me really want to keep going, just sharing everything that I know and everything that I've already bought. But this was Kim from Kim's Vintage Obsessions, and I will catch you guys next time.